So, dashboard then. This is my blank, it's got no real holes in it. These are cardboard things representing instruments. One of the reasons that it hasn't proceeded any further so far is because of what goes behind the dashboard, which is, luxury, an air conditioning unit. Well, a combined heater and air conditioning unit from Car Builder Solutions. So, compact, just the right width I think, but I'd need to get it all mounted. So here we have, it's a very simple unit. We have, I guess it's a heater core and a cooling core stacked one on the other, and there's a fan, obviously 6 outlets to be used as I wish, and a drain for the condensation that needs to be linked up to something outside of the car. So any sophistication about air flaps and controls and so on will need to be added on after. But this is the basic thing, and I selected it because it's compact and small, and I can fit it behind the dashboard. But so the mountings are 3 M6 threaded bosses. 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, I've got 3 little spikes, which I basically took a M6 bolt, well, a long one, and cut it into 3 pieces and sharpened it into spikes. And the reason I did that was so that I can use them to mark the position of the holes. Of course, it needs to go on the bulkhead in here somehow, and of course the 3 holes don't really match up particularly well with that. So I'm going to make this aluminium plate, which is going to be fixed on to the framework, and it needs to have some holes in it to match the 3 mounting bosses. That's really what I'm up to, but I'm not entirely sure of what shape I need. So I'm going to start with cardboard. That's where the little spiky bolts that I've got come in. 1, 2, 3, and I've got a big sheet of cardboard over here, which I'm going to simply press against the unit to get 3 holes, which I can then adjust. So make sure that you can see that right. Okay, so here's my air conditioning unit. Here's my piece of cardboard. Unfortunately, this unit came without any measurements, templates or anything like that. So that's what these 3 spikes are for. So I'm going to approximate the mountings thusly. There we go. Before I can make a bracket to fix the unit in the right place, of course I've got to decide where the right place actually is. So I've chalked the whole thing up on various blocks and so on, and put the dash top into place, and this looks quite alright actually. There's clearance under there for a bit of pipe routing. So yeah, I think we'll have this kind of beveled point here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to align the top of the box with that, so it'll come up a few millimetres compared to where it is now. So here is my cardboard template, which will fit on the back of the bulkhead with 3 holes. I'm just going to make these holes into, I'm actually going to bolt on some M6 screws just to see if I can offer the thing up. I think it's double layer cardboard, so it's actually quite stiff. It may be able to take the weight for a short time of the whole unit, so I'll just do that. Well, it is a bit dark in here, but the thing is actually supported on a piece of cardboard down here and up here. I think I'll put a bit of a bend in it just there. But yeah, that's just the kind of position of the heater aircon core. And there's plenty of room down here for pipes to be routed, so that's nice. The fan itself is over there. Not too many obstructions or anything. So all that remains then is to remake the piece of cardboard with a piece of aluminium. So here's my cardboard piece, which is screwed on. I'm going to have to use a screwdriver. Now I don't have shears or guillotine. This is 2mm thick stuff. Why did I choose such thick material? Because I can't put ribs, stiffening ribs in it or anything, so it has to support itself as it is. So I've done that, and now I'll drill the very important locating holes. So here we have the aircon unit kind of offered up into position. The plate sheet will need to be screwed onto the framework, and obviously it's screwed the other way into the aircon unit itself. And there's a bit of a bend in there because that's the shape that is there at the moment. It just follows it. So screws in there, down there, down there, and I think we should then have a mounting with the name. And there we have it. So possibly some improvements could be made, I don't know. It's very, very rigid at the moment. And so this plate fixes onto the chassis and screws come the other way into the box here. So that's it really. And I shall just put the dash top back on again. In fact, before I put the dash top on, here's the dash front. Now what I am noticing is that the valvery is rather visible, so that could be an argument for remaking the dash with a slightly different shape. Okay, but down the back of the dash there's well, presently about an inch gap, and plus it's bigger at the top than it is at the bottom, so my putative instruments near the bottom actually go in without issue because they are underneath it. So that works quite nicely. Yeah, just a question about maybe a cover, or maybe remake it with a different... Yeah, okay, well, that's a level of detail, that is. It's only plywood after all. But yeah, anyway, I just put the dash top on. So that all looks quite spiffing. Something will have to be done about this. I'm not sure whether I'll make a cover or remake the centre of the dashboard a little bit, but there's details really, because the big issue is not the width there, it's the front to back, between the back of the dashboard and the back of the bulkhead. And having got the thing into position, I can actually think about bracketising the mounting of the wooden panel, so rather than being balanced as it is now, it's actually kind of bolted in, which is what we want. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty important step actually.